The PM is set to concede on a central EU demand despite previously promising no EU youth mobility scheme. Keir Starmer is set to sell out Brexit by signing Britain up to a youth mobility scheme with the EU after months of promising not to. Thew PM is reportedly planning on agreeing to a youth exchange with Brussels which would largely mirror the requested youth mobility scheme demanded by the EU. According to Bloomberg, Downing Street is planning to join a slimmed-down version of the EU's youth mobility scheme, which would essentially amount to a return to free movement of people. The scheme, if joined, would allow for a regular exchange of students while dodging a rise in net migration. The EU has been pushing for Britain to join the scheme in return for any concessions on trade. The news has already sparked fury among Brexiteers, with Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp blasting, "Starmer and his government of lawyers never tire of finding new opportunities to negotiate away British interests. From the Chagos Islands to the EU Customs Union, everything is on the table with Starmer. The only people Starmer is tough with are UK workers, families, pensioners, farmers and businesses who he endlessly clobbers with job-destroying taxes and growth-killing regulations." Reform UK Deputy Leader, Richard Tice said, "Today's the 5th anniversary of the UK leaving the European Union. Whilst many celebrate, Labour are secretly planning to sell out the millions that voted leave. We now have the most pro-British president in the White House, yet Labour would rather tie us to a failing, diminishing economic and political union. Britain needs to end mass immigration, not increase it. Britain needs reform." The Prime Minister refused to say anything on the anniversary of Brexit, this day 5 years ago. A spokesman told Bloomberg they will not take the UK back into the EU single market, customs none or freedom of movement, but refused to rule out the floated youth mobility trade scheme. The government previously said, the UK and EU have agreed to strengthen cooperation in areas including the economy, security and resilience. A broad security and defence agreement and closer cooperation with the EU on issues like migration will make the UK safer and more prosperous. It was 5 years ago today that the UK formally left the European Union after years of rowing with Brussels and Remainer MPSS.